Hola chicos, hoy vamos a discutir los verbos que terminan en IR. Ayer hablamos de los verbos que terminan en ER, pero ahora vamos a discutir los verbos que terminan en IR. Bueno, alright, so we already talked about verbs that ended in ER. Now we're going to talk about verbs that end in IR. It follows the same pattern as other verbs that we've learned. First, all you do is you take off the last two letters of the verb. In this case, you're taking off the IR. So escribir becomes escribe. Then you find the pronoun you want to use. I always use yo as my example one, so we're going to use the pronoun yo. And then you add on the correct ending. So yo stays the same. It's still an O. If you've noticed, in all three forms of the verbs, yo always ends with O in regular verbs. So no matter if the verb ends in IR, if it ends in ER like correr, or AR like in hablar, anytime you want to say I do something in Spanish, your verb is usually going to end with an O. So I write is escribo. Now the next form, too. If you notice, this is the exact same as the ending for ER verbs that we learned yesterday, except today it is IR verbs and it keeps the same thing, so ES. The next one that we're going to talk about is the LA usted form that stays in E, so it's escribe, is he or she writes. Now, if you notice, the nosotros, now we see where the difference between IR verbs and ER verbs come into play. Only for the nosotros and the vosotros form over here are the endings any different. So for nosotros, we use IMOS, so escribimos, and vosotros is escribís. The elseos ustedes form is the same as any other ER verb and IR verb. It is EN, so escriben. Let's take a look at some examples. So if you want to say I write, you take off the IR, you found your pronoun. Now looking at the chart that you just copied down, what is the last letter for any yo verb? It is an O, so your verb is escribo, escribo, and that means I write. Okay. El and escribir. You take off the IR, you find the ending that goes with el, and it's escribe. Now what does that mean in English? Well, el means he, and escribir is to write, so it means he writes. Nosotros and abrir. Okay, the verb abrir means to open, so we're going to try to say we open. You take off the IR and then you add the nosotros ending. It is abrimos, abrimos, and that means we open. Here's the same verb, to open. We're going to talk about they, so they open, AS. You take off the IR and you add an EN, so it's abren, they open. Alright, let's move back to the verb escribir. Try it with the to form. So to, take off the IR, add the ending, it's escribes. What does that mean? You write. Last one, usted, which is you formally, and then open. So it's abre, you open. So you can abre la puerta, which is open the door, or abre la ventana, which is open the window. It's kind of a useful verb. Alright, that is all for tonight. Adios, chicos.